Welcome back to the BearDown Abroad podcast with me, Ant, and I'm back in Gothenburg, rainy Gothenburg. Oh my God, what a show do we have for you today? We've been looking forward to this. We are the International Bears podcast, and today we're bringing people from all around the world to talk about the team that we only care about, and that is the Chicago Bears. We're going to talk about everything from Caleb Williams to wider fans to can they understand everybody. So, why are you just listening to me? Tony, roll it.
Welcome back. We're back on the BearDown Abroad podcast, and we are properly abroad this week because we have representation from all over the world, all of the Bears fandom from every corner of the universe. I'm getting over the top here, guys. Stop me, please. But still, we're joined by a bunch of guys who we cannot wait to talk to about the Bears. Firstly, I'll say, Ant, how you doing, man? Loved your introduction as usual. But it's good to see you. I haven't spoken to you in a week.
I know, it's great. And I'm not drinking either. I don't know what's wrong with me.
Well, I can't say that I'm joining you on that one, but there we go.
Oh, someone has to.
Salud.
So let's do the introductions so we can get started. Tony, I mean, this is your part of the show. You shouldn't be drinking. You should be doing the intros.
Listen, I can't be trusted. Let's start. Heidi, how you doing? Firstly, everyone on Bears Twitter knows who you are. You're very active on Bears Twitter. But for the people who are watching who have never maybe seen you or interacted before, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and how you became a Bears fan?
Oh, okay. Yes, I'm going to be short. It's going to be short because it's a long story. Thank you. Thank you for having me as a guest. I'm very happy to be here with you. I was born in Mexico City, and I lived in Acapulco, the Pacific coast of Mexico, for 26 years. I'm back in Mexico City, freezing my... It's not that cold, I know, but after 26 years living under a palm tree, it's cold for me. I started watching NFL games with my dad. He was a Redskins fan, but here in Mexico, we couldn't watch what we wanted. We just watched what they showed us, which was, of course, Dallas Cowboys, Steelers, Raiders, but he never pushed me to be a Redskins fans, and he called me Oso, which is bear in Spanish. So there's a team with my name on it, so that had to be my team. Nothing that has to do with Chicago or anything else, just because it had my nickname. So that's a story. So I've been a fan for too long.
Haven't we all?
Yes.
All right, so from Mexico City, we go to Matt. Matt, first and foremost, you've been watching and tuning in with the show for ages, and we really, really appreciate you watching from the start, like when there's not many folk watching, man. So first and foremost, thanks for that. Matt, it's great to actually speak to you in person. How you doing? Tell us a bit about yourself, where you're from, and how did you become a Bears fan?
I'm doing good, fellas. First off, I want to appreciate, the two of you for what you're doing. I know you guys are staying up real late, doing this for all of us Bears fans. So, I want to appreciate you guys for that. But first, it all started for me was the Super Bowl in, 2006. As soon as Devin Hester touched that ball, I knew it was over. I knew I was going to be a Bears fan. I know that, we struggled, for too long, but, I truly believe that the future is bright. I believe in Caleb Williams. I believe in Ben Johnson, and I'm ready for some Super Bowls.
Let's go, Matt. Let's go.
We are all there. We have been waiting for some Super Bowls for a very, very long time.
Too long.
And you're the last time the Bears won a Super Bowl. That's great. Gav, obviously you're from the UK as well, man. So obviously the clues in the name there. But do you want to tell us a bit about where in the UK you're from and what how you became a Bears fan as well?
Yes, I'm from the northeast of England, quite close to Newcastle. Quite a lot of people know where Newcastle is. So I started supporting him when I was about 12 years old. There's a phrase in England, the Sunday scaries, the day before going back to school the next day, and I couldn't sleep. I remember putting the TV on. And I didn't know anything about NFL at the time. My parents are very traditional, watch football, watch, soccer, if you want to call it that. So I never gave it a go, but tuned it in just to kind of try and get myself to sleep. I ended up getting hooked. I remember seeing the fans, and it was a Bears game, and it was actually against the Packers. The Bears actually lost that game, but I remember thinking, I just remember the crowd reaction. I just remember it, and I just remember I didn't fully follow it straight away, but pretty similar to Matt. I remember watching my first Super Bowl, which was the Bears v Colts, and as soon as Devin Hester ran back, I was screaming. My dad came downstairs, obviously, because he's got work the next day, effing and jeffing me, saying, be quiet. And I was trying to explain to him how big of a moment this is. It's a kickoff return, and he just didn't care. But as soon as that happened, I was just hooked. And then unfortunately, it's kind of got me into the other sports in Chicago now. So now I'm getting in trouble with the missus, staying up at 3:00 in the morning watching Cubs play now as well. So yeah, but I love it.
Oh man, you'll know exactly what it's like. I always plan my days off at work around when the Bears are playing. So Monday Night Football next week, I've got Tuesday off of work because I'm going to be up until 5 in the morning watching the Bears. So just has to happen. It's just the way it is. But that's great, man. Thanks for coming on. And Tanner, man, we've spoken a ton over the years. We've had you on other podcasts that we were a part of before. It's really great to have you back on, man. First question, I'm going to ask you about how you became a Bears fan and where you're from. But have you got a giant cigar at the moment? Because I've usually seen you with one.
I unfortunately I don't have a cigar today. I'm not so much curing, but I'm aging some cigars that I just bought. Those cigars, I'm not going to smoke those cigars for about 3-4 months in. Let them a little dry a little bit. Cause like a cigar or wine, the more age it has, the better it tastes. So no cigar. I'm just stuck with a vape for today. So that's what I got. How it started for me as a Bears fan. It wasn't even. I remember the 2007 game in the Super Bowl, but I don't know anything that was happening. I didn't care why we were at somebody's garage watching this football game. I didn't know what it was. What really turned it for me and being a Bears fan is the infamous NFC Championship game with the B.J. Raji interception. That was the year I was like, I'm going to watch this team. I'm going to enjoy this team until something happened, and then something happened, and I'm still enjoying the team. Originally, I'm from the Illinois area, but my dad was in the Army, so we bounced around a lot. Now I'm down here in Florida, Fort Myers area. So, and my fiance doesn't want to leave Florida, so I think I'm still stuck here. So,
yeah. Why would you leave that weather?
I was about to say,
it gets like 110 degrees, and I work outside. This ain't fun. We get winter once a month.
I would actually die. Look, it's absolutely amazing having you all on. Everyone that's over on Twitter, come over and get involved and get some questions into the guys, and let's just have some Bears talk. So we're going to start talking some Bears, right? Heidi, I'm going to start with you because you're up there in the top right side for me. Okay. What's your, we've had some bad years the last couple of years. We've had some tough times. What's your optimism level heading into week one this time next week?
I think everybody knows that I am Miss Optimistic and Miss Positive always. When we get to the end of the season, I'm shattered. But I think this time Bears are doing things a different way with Ben Johnson and with what has been happening lately. And I believe firmly in Caleb Johnson. So I'm very positive, but I'm cautious and I'm realistic because we have a new head coach. We have a new system. And we have a very tough schedule ahead. So I'm not talking about wins, but development mostly. but I'm
Matt,
very optimistic.
Matt, where do you sort of stand on the off-season moves, the acquisitions, the direction that they went in the draft? I know Ant and I sat here on night one of the draft, and Colston Loveland was not a guy that we were thinking off the top of our heads that's who the Bears are end up going to take. Not that I have an issue with it, but it definitely wasn't one of the first names at the top of my mind. What are your thoughts on the overall sort of off-season, the guys that were added there?
Yeah, I'll start with the draft. I was actually, a little surprised with the Loveland pick, but I wasn't mad at it. I seen the production that he had at Michigan, and comparing him to what was the other one, Tyler Warren, I believe it was the other tight end. Their stats were fairly similar, and but I believe Loveland, he had more production over less time, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm really excited about that pick. But the pick that I'm most excited about is Mr. Monangai, Kyle Monangai.
Yes.
I love that.
The new Daz Newsome.
And well, I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far. I believe that Monangai is actually gonna he's gonna stick around. I think he's gonna be more than that practice squad type player. But I'm really impressed with the Joe Thuney trade. Ryan Poles, he knew that he needed to fix that O-line, and especially the interior. And with the 3 pickups that he made, he crushed them. He crushed it. We still need to work on that left tackle, and the right tackle is a little iffy right now. But I'm fully I guess confident, in this O-line, compared to where we were last year.
Yeah, I think from my perspective, and Kobe, I'm going to go on to you on this one. From my perspective, it's fun looking at an inside offensive line where we give an opportunity to Caleb to succeed, and we've been 12 minutes into the show, and I don't think we've mentioned our quarterback at all. What's your take on the development to where Caleb is, and also what's your hopes for him? Because I know Bears fans, we don't give guys a lot of time and opportunities, and I think this kid has shown last year. I don't get this. Everyone's saying he had a bad rookie season. I think he had a very good rookie season. Just doesn't get the credit for it. You got to remember he had probably the worst offensive coordinator and, in my opinion, the worst head coach on the planet there for his rookie year. So what's your take on Caleb and what you want to see from Caleb going into not just week 1, but beyond that?
Is that for me or for
Kobe, man? I got yeah.
Me.
Yeah, work away.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I feel I'm going to keep my feet on the ground, and I think it's going to be still an up and down year for Caleb, because let's be honest, last year it wasn't a proper rookie year for him, was he? Because he was just getting battered. He had no protection. The coaching was pathetic. It was almost like it was just a laughing stock, wasn't it? I mean, there was a clip, wasn't there, where Waldron was next to him laughing when Williams was having a really tough game, and you could see Williams' face just turn to thunder, like going, "What is going on here? Like these are people who are meant to be developing me," and he's laughing on the sideline. I mean, I've never seen so much scrutiny from the media on one particular player as well. Like usually there's like scrutiny on about how they play and whatever. With Caleb, it's like, what colour nails has he got? I mean, I saw an ESPN interview, and they went on for about 5 minutes about his socks, saying that he was wearing different socks to the other players, and this was bad to his other teammates. And I'm thinking, what are we doing here? Like, let's get a bit of context. I think they try and compare him to Daniels, which is not fair, because Daniels had a completely different situation compared to what Caleb had. And I think this season it's about him kind of developing properly with a bit of consistency. When you think about it, it's the second season he's going into, and the second head coach or offensive coordinator. I mean, how is someone meant to develop as a rookie? And we just need a bit of consistency, and I think we just need to be patient. And I do believe he's going to become good, but I think it's probably going to be like next season. I think we're going to see the full potential from Caleb.
Yeah, no, and I'll sort of continue along that questioning, Tanner, with yourself. What's the expectation for the offense, right? So obviously we've had all this stuff happen in the off season. We've had the big head coach signing the top guy that was available. We've made all these fantastic moves in the interior offensive line. They've really kind of beefed up in terms of the receiving core and all this kind of stuff. But what's the reality, though, in your mind of where this offense will actually be at come this time next week when the Vikings come to town?
Well, first things first, we're obviously the offseason champions. I mean, everything we do in the offseason is 100% going to win us the Super Bowl this year. Absolutely. We know it from the back of our heads. So I am completely on board with everything they've done in the offseason. They were really aggressive getting Ben Johnson. That happened. We gave him the money that he wanted. Apparently, he has a really good relationship with Ryan Poles, which is another big reason why he came. Obviously the acquisitions that we wanted out of the offensive guard out of Kansas City that signed his extension with them. I can't remember his name now. It's irrelevant. But at the end of the day, we still got at the end of the day, we got Joe Tooney. It was the other guy that we were trying to get. Trey Smith, was it?
Yeah.
Or Trey Smith. Obviously that didn't work out, but we still ended up with a top guard in the NFL still at 32 years old. The man could still move. I don't think he's missed a game ever in his career. As far as my expectations for this offense with Ben Johnson, with the talents that we know Caleb has, obviously it's Super Bowl. We're going. It's 17-0. We're going far in this situation. We got the best. We got the best at everything. But if I were to tone down, if I were to tone down my bias, I want to say that we're a 9 to 10 win team right now. I love the receiving room. Luther Burden being there in the second round was just cherry on top of who we were going to get, because Loveland was also a surprise. But at the same time, when you know that Ben runs a 12-man personnel, that second tight end, especially as explosive Loveland's going to be, it's going to be top notch. And I'm not going to be surprised if Loveland ends up tight end 1 at some point over Komet, just because of how well it fits with Ben Johnson's system. But overall, I want to say it's a 9 to 10 win team. I want Caleb to throw 4,000 yards this year, because honestly, there's almost no excuse not to, the way Ben rolls his schemes and the way it gets players wide open. Once again, we're talking about Luther Burden, Roma Dunze, DJ Moore, Colston Loveland. Komet can still get out there in space. And we're also really getting DeAndre Swift, who, if open out there, can get your yak yards that Ben Johnson wants. So I expect a very high explosiveness in the offense, but I want to keep my bias to a level of just maybe 9 to 10 wins for the year.
17 all the way, baby. Like for me, I'm ecstatic, looking forward to this for the first time in I don't know how long. We look like we've got an offense that could be exciting to watch, and we could score 30, 40 points in a lot of games, and I think that's really exciting. Seb and Tony have been doing this for, 3-4 years, too long. And we've never had an offense. We've never had a team that looked capable of scoring 3 points, let alone anything. I say it all the time. I was up at 4 o'clock in the morning watching Kansas City score 50 on us, and I was hoping that we would score 10. So this is the first time that we've got a look and a feel of an offensive team. And this is where I'm going to come to you, Heidi, on it. Then we look at our NFC North rivals, and we see what is a really good Lions team, a Vikings team that, they got JJ, but they've got excellent coaches, excellent defense. And then you've got our friends up north deciding to go and spend all their cash on an edge rusher out of Dallas. So it's a tough division, isn't it?
Very tough, but there's a catch. I don't know if you guys know that Micah Parsons has a back injury.
Yes.
So he's going to need like an epidural injection every time he wants to play. So I think I'm glad we didn't, ¿cómo se dice? We didn't
pull the trigger. We didn't pull the trigger.
Yeah, exactly. Because I don't know, it was our future first rounds and a lot of money to get him. Hi, bellissimo. So I'm okay with that. Okay, we're gonna play him twice a year. But remember, they only won one divisional game last season, so I'm not that concerned. And Burley, exactly. So I'm not that concerned. But it's going to be tough, very, very tough. And I still think that Lions have a great team. even though losing some of the coaches. And just remember that Ben Johnson didn't turn the Lions around in 1 year. It took longer for him. So we're just going to have to be patient, as always. But it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a couple of storylines in there that aren't being spoke about enough with the Lions in terms of losing their two coordinators and how that's going to impact things, because end of the day, Dan Campbell can be the rah-rah guy, but you need to have that X's and O's guy working behind you as well, and whether that translates with our new coordinators or not, we'll need to wait and see. But it'll be an interesting one. But keep it on the kind of theme of NFC North opponents, Matt. We're looking forward to 7 days from today. We have the Vikings coming into town. JJ McCarthy is obviously a rookie quarterback as well. And everyone's going on about Caleb Williams and Caleb Williams this. Not much chat about JJ McCarthy in the same capacity. How do you think he's going to cope coming into Soldier Field, primetime game, Monday Night Football, against a Bears defense that has been pretty impressive so far in the off-season and the preseason as well? And obviously with the acquisitions we've made there, what do you think is going to happen with that rookie QB on Monday night?
Yeah. See, it's one thing, going up against, the vanilla defenses or, the teammate defenses. It's a whole nother animal when you're going to, especially a rival and they're looking to just make an impact, especially they know it's your first start, and since you've been drafted, they're gonna come. They're gonna try to rattle you. They're gonna try to, they're gonna try to hurt you. Not bad, but they're gonna have that intention. I do think that JJ McCarthy may, perform a little better than a lot of people think, since he has been able to, sit and watch and learn from KOC. I do believe, he will come in and, he will be. He may surprise, with his play, but I still believe that defense is going to overwhelm him. And I'm saying Bears win. I'm saying it's a Bears win.
I love this show. Gavin, from your perspective, heading into week one and heading into the whole season as we're going forward on it, we speak about the Vikings heading into that game, Monday Night Football. First of all, are you like Tony and do you take the Tuesday off? Are you like me and stay up till 5, don't go to sleep, power through, and go to work 2 hours later? So there's two questions. Looking forward to the Vikings next week. And are you a wuss like Tony and take a day off so we can sleep?
Hold on a wee second here.
Are you powerful like me and power through to work the next day?
This bad? I mean, I'm just doing the smart thing, man.
I'm asking my friend a question.
He's hardcore. Oh, okay, go for it, man. Do apologize.
No, I'm a wuss. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I've got it booked off. It's my birthday. It's my birthday weekend as well, so that's an excuse. So it's gonna be a bit of a long one. So yeah. I mean, in terms of McCarthy, I don't know if this is just me hoping, but I reckon he's going to be like the next Tim Tebow. Like, very, very good college career. Like, you can't deny McCarthy had a great career in college. Like, you lost one game, I think it was. But you got to look at that Michigan team, like the offensive line, the defense, and they ran a lot. Like, I remember watching a Michigan game in the second half. They didn't have one pass attempt. They just ran the ball because no team could basically stop that run. So I feel like he had a very good support network whilst he was in college. It's not his fault, obviously. Like, he's got to be smart about it and control the game and stuff like that. But I think there's definitely a question mark when it comes to town, especially at Soldier Field. I think the crowd are going to be bang up for it. It's going to be quite a tough first start for him. So I do fancy us to get a win as well. It's just trying to keep Jefferson down, keep him quiet, don't get him involved in the game, and I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, I think that's key is the whole Justin Jefferson thing. Like, if you're able to contain that to a certain extent, if you're able to throw some blitzes, which we know that Dennis Allen likes to do at the rookie quarterback, try and sort of confuse him with some exotic setups, then you're setting yourself up well. I think it really comes back to the Bears have generally been able to do pretty well on defense for the most part over the years. It's always come back to the offense, though, you know, and I think that's got to be the sort of main focus for me moving into this year, and what the changes are going to be there as well. In terms of obviously, we've talked about the things that the Bears have done, and it's great to get everybody's opinion on things that the Bears didn't do this off season that they wish that they had done. Tanner, is in any sort of move? I mean, the most obvious one is everyone's talking about just now is the Micah Parsons one. Is there anything that you think that the Bears haven't done? And I'll ask it in the sense of there's a lot of question marks over left tackle. There's a lot of question marks over pass rush as well. And I know you can't fix everything in the 1 year, but Ryan Poles has been here for a wee while now. Is there anything in this particular offseason that you wish we'd have focused on a little bit more than we had?
I was one of the bigger people on really on edge rushers being like our number one priority in my eyes. As much as people say Braxton Jones, he's not the world's greatest at left tackle, but he is a very serviceable left tackle for us. Like he makes his mistakes, but he doesn't do them enough to where it's just going to ruin us on absolutely every play. But we're also talking about trying to line up with somebody on the opposite side of Sweat. I mean, who did we have? We had Austin Booker, who's now on IR for the first 4 weeks. We don't have him. We have Dom Robb, who's supposedly been, you know, the talk of camp in certain parts, but we've all seen his play. He can disappear and either not be a part of it anyways. I wasn't on board with it at first because of Austin Booker being on the team and showing, you know, promise in the preseasons. That I think that we should at least extend our hand out to Zadarius, even as a one-time rental, and then try to go swing big at edge then next year in the draft. So really, I think the biggest focus that the Bears need to hone in on right now, especially, would be the edge position. We're gonna hope for Brisker to be healthy this season. We're gonna hope he's there. Kevin Byard in his age, he's still very well one of the top safeties you can have in the NFL. Kyler Gordon being healthy, Jalen Johnson hopefully coming back being healthy for week 1. Tyreek Stevenson, you know, hope to God we're praying that he went over that hump without Harris and DA being on his ass a little bit. But definitely the worry is going to be who is lining up opposite of Sweat this year. Who can help Sweat contain the pressure? Who can help Sweat cause the pressure? That way it's not all on Sweat's job.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting. And I think from my perspective, I'm looking at it going, I think you'll find there'll be a lot more movement inside. So I think you'll find a lot more pressure is coming from the inside of our defensive line. And whether it's in Garrett, whether it's in Dexter, who I think is going to have a massive year. I think, and then obviously my man, Mr. Billings, just sitting there and not letting anyone go past him. There was a fear last week. There was talks he wasn't going to make the 53. I think I might have lost the last bit of hair on my head. Seemed to go away when that happened because that would have made me cry. But I think you're going to find a lot different ways, as you said, man, around Dennis Allen's scheme and how he schemes people. And you just have to look at I can't remember what preseason game it was, but he sent the house in a preseason game, one of the last plays, and he just absolutely came from everywhere. And I think you're going to find that. I think you've already seen Tremaine Edmonds seems to be already, there's words coming out of camp that he's doing really well. You got to hope that TJ Edwards' injury isn't anything too bad. Noah Sewell's been very impressive. There's all these positive stories coming out, and I think from a Bears fan, it's amazing to see those positive stories. And what I thought was really interesting in the Kansas game is that we didn't perform in the first quarter. And what we finally had is we had a coach we won the game, and the coach came out afterwards and said he was disappointed in every one of his players in the first team. And that allowed people who were in the second team to go, oh, I've got a chance of playing here. And that's what you're creating. You're creating a culture within that club. Compare that to whatever the fuck culture we had last year, which just didn't seem to have any culture other than Matt calling people by their nicknames. We suddenly now have a situation, and not you, Matt. Oh, geez, I'm not saying you, but you know what I'm talking about. And for me, it's accountability. It's real big boy pants coaching, and it's like there will not be a Tariq Stevenson moment this year, or if there is, that person will no longer be playing for the Chicago Bears the next game. And Heidi, for me, you've been a Bears fan a while. How good do you think this coaching ticket is? What's compared to? Are we going back to Lovie Smith? Is that the era we're going back, or we even go back further? What's your expectation? Not just on Ben Johnson, but Eric Bieniemy and Dennis Allen and all these guys. I'm more as excited about them as we are the players that we've signed.
Well, of course, because our history hasn't been very good after Lovie Smith. So, and there's always I'm always optimistic. Of course, this is his first year as a head coach. Remember what happened to Matt Nagy? He was coach of the year, and then shit happened. So, but Ben Johnson looks like he looks very tough. He's asking for discipline, which is what we need. Not only tell them, be yourself, just be you, and things like that.
Whoa.
I felt like he was back in the room there. Jesus.
Whoa.
So sorry. Bad memories. But
Very bad.
yes, very bad. And for many years. So we can only be hopeful because we don't know. We really don't know. So I'm very hopeful, and I trust Ben Johnson. He's doing things in a very, very different way. So let's see. And I do think that we're going to win next Monday.
Love this show.
I hope so. And listen, before we finish up, we will get everybody's score prediction as well.
Sorry, I have to interrupt you. There's no way Lee is ever coming on the show.
Lee, you've ruined it, mate.
You're gone. You're gone, Lee. You're done.
You need a visor.
I need a lot of things.
Oh no!
Oh no! Look who he's put in. Fighting for why?
No.
I
Yes,
thought
we're
we getting that
listening.
in a t-shirt actually.
There's our first merch, Tony. There's our first merch. That and Daz Newsome is a legend. There's our first merch that we're looking to bring onto the show.
Matt, Heidi mentioned there that she has trust in Ben Johnson. And I've asked a couple of different folk that have come on the show over the last few weeks regarding that aspect of things. And, do you trust Ben Johnson? I mean, to play devil's advocate, he's not played a game yet. He's never been a head coach before. There was questions over should he have played the starters in week 1 of pre-season and all these different things. So is it a case of should we just trust Ben Johnson blindly, or for you, or do you feel that he has to go out there and also prove his worth as well?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think just what he's shown just in the off season, just in practice and even in the preseason. Just the intensity in his his voice, intensity in his look. I don't think I've ever seen, the previous he who shall remain nameless, coach. I don't think I've ever seen him, with that type of intensity. But on the flip side, you're right. He hasn't coached in the game. We don't know if, he could really handle, that type of pressure, knowing that, this time it's going to count. The preseason, you could go out and try things. You can, try to be cute about it, whatever. But, week 1, all that has to go out the window. Time to get serious. It's time to, see what you could do. It's time to, in lack of a better words, it's time to nut up or shut up.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think this is, and also he's been so smart in his coaches that he picked. You've got experience all around him. He's got real experience of being a head coach, and Alan Bieniemy, who seems to have been robbed of a head coach position over the last 5-6 years.
I think the most underrated. I'm sorry. I think the most underrated is going to be that Al Harris. I truly believe Al Harris is going to be the difference maker, on that defense. So
yeah, I agree, and I think you can see the intensity. I think there was a catch by Walker down the sideline, and the coaches on the sideline were almost as pumped up as the players. And as you said, when's the last time we saw? I'm sorry, Matt. Shit, Matt. When's the last time we saw him decide to do anything? I have a question for you, Gavin. Really, if I'm honest, we have my favorite Karen coming to Soldier Field in the middle of the season, playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers in Mrs. Rogers. Which one would you prefer to beat, the Packers or the Steelers?
It's like asking who your favorite kid is, isn't it? I don't know. Yeah, I mean that's an impossible question because you can imagine if Rodgers beats us, you can just see it now, can't you? Like what he did in Soldier Field, his last game there, and he still owns us and all this kind of thing. I've seen him doing interviews with Barstool and stuff, and he's still got like a smile on his face when he talks about beating the Bears and stuff. So it would be brutal, but I think you've got to say the Packers, isn't it? It's a division game. They mean so much. Rodgers, he can go on his little island that he goes to for 5 days with no contact after the game. I don't care. He can do what he wants. But I think beating the Packers is more important for the division and for us to kind of progress, I think.
Yeah, it's a hard one, isn't it? But I don't know. I don't know. It just depends. I don't even know what week they play in for each of those games either. But end of the day, if you're saying beat the Packers or beat the Steelers, that means we'd win 2 games if we beat the Packers because we have to play them twice. So therefore, I'm picking that one if I need to pick one. I'm just trying to be a smart arse about the whole situation.
On the loophole.
Exactly. There's a comment in the chat here regarding from Bellissimo. Here's hoping we can put a decent secondary for the whole game. A lot of concern, Tanner, about injuries in the back end of the field there. Jalen Johnson coming back for week 1. I think Kyler Gordon's also questionable at the minute. So we don't have 100%, definitive answer on whether everyone's going to be good to go or not. When you consider the impact that having a good kind of defensive back area in terms of coverage has on your defense and giving your pass rushers time to get to the quarterback and all that kind of stuff, how big an issue is it if the Bears don't have their starting secondary guys all available in week 1?
Like, what do I expect to happen, or what do I like? What?
Yeah, just how big an issue is it? Like, if they're not there, what's the knock-on effect to the defense and in turn the outcome of the game?
So at that point, if you don't have any of your starters up, the way Ben Johnson, Dennis Allen is coaching up the team in the culture is your next man up mentality. You competed all training camp to get to where you're at. Either you're a CB2, CB3, you're CB2, your CB1 goes down. That means you're up in the game and you play your ass off. I think if we have any starters out and it's just the backups playing, it all comes down to coaching. How well did the coaches coach up the players backing up the starters to keep playing into the game? We can't take our foot off the gas at all, especially when it comes, playing with the Vikings. And we have Flores' defense. I mean, it's not a joke. So if you and also you got KOC's offense. KOC is a mastermind. We've seen it. We saw what he did with Sam Darnold last year. So if we have starters going down, the coaching needs to put the backups into the best positions they can get to make sure they make the play on the ball, stay healthy all game, and make the plays that matter most to get your offense back on the field and keep your defense on the field as well. So it all comes down to the coaching and how they handle the injuries.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting one. I think that the Vikings one might actually be coming at a perfect time, in my opinion, because one, people wouldn't have seen Ben Johnson's type of offense, and he seems to have done very well at the Lions against the Vikings. I think his record's pretty impressive. And as Lee says in the chat, Addison's not going to be there. So it's all going on JJ, and there's talks of him having a hamstring injury and all those kind of things. So I think it might come at the right time. And then throw in McCarthy as well. We don't know what it's going to be. I must say the Vikings are, for some reason, even though they won all those games last year, are the one team in the division I'm not overly stressed about. I don't think the Packers are a really good team, but yet they went and got the best edge rusher in the game. So if he's fit, that changes it. But still, there's nothing really there. I think Lions have come back towards the pack with some of the movements, even with Hutchinson coming back. I think there's nothing really there for the Bears to massively fear, like I would have feared before, where I'd have been wondering, can we get past halfway? So this is the excitement I have going into Monday Night Football myself, is that this is a real opportunity for us to make a statement in week one, that we're going to really, really make that statement. And I want to see in our first offensive series going down the field and scoring, whether it's a field goal, whether it's a touchdown, whatever that may be. I want to see us doing that so we can make that statement going forward. Question for you, Heidi. Do you think we're finally seeing the scenario in Chicago where the offense is going to be better than the defense? That from the offensive side of the football, we're going to be more dangerous than looking for the defense to kind of hang on a little bit. Is that a fair statement to make? Or do you still think we in Chicago need to accept that we're a defensive type of football team?
No, I think we absolutely will have a big offense, because that's the idea. So we can keep our great defense, but now we can say that we are on the way to have a great offense with Ben Johnson. I think that's the reason he's here. So yes, I think it is true. It is possible, more than possible.
I did.
I love it. I love the optimism. That's what we want moving forward.
I'm always optimistic. Always. I feel better this way. Life is tough. Why
100%.
make it tougher?
100%. When we had some of the scenarios and coaches and players that we had in the past, I remember our best player once was a 42-year-old left tackle. So I fully back and support your thoughts.
I did. Let's not go back there again.
No,
we need to stop living
please.
in the past. It's depressing.
We still have to prove it this year, so it's a long way.
Guys, I wanted to go around the table and get everyone's score prediction for the game on Monday. I'd also like you to give me a bold prediction, something that's going to happen that maybe is a wee bit outside the box. You've maybe heard us doing bold predictions before. So the crazier the better, but also try and keep it relatively realistic. So Heidi, you've just gone, so I'll start with Matt. What do you think the score is going to be Monday night, and what's your bold prediction as well?
I think it's going to be pretty even, because there are surprise elements on both sides. Ben Johnson on our side and JJ McCarthy on their side. My score prediction is going to be 23-20, Bears win. And not that bold prediction, is the first touchdown will be Colson Loveland.
Oof, okay. Good start to his career. That's what we want to see, for definitely. Close game, but then again, these games last year were close as well between the Bears and the Vikings, so it's every possibility. Matt, what will be yourself, mate?
I'm going to go ahead and say it's going to be a 28-17 game. And for my bold prediction, Ant, you're going to love this one. Kyle Monangai breaks a 50-plus yard touchdown.
Oof.
I would explode.
Our guy, Kyle Monangai, first touchdown of his career.
Come on.
Let's get
50 yards as well, man. That's pretty bold.
Hey,
Pretty bold.
Put money on it, Matt. Put money on it.
Don't put money on it, Matt. Calm on, guys. He's not that fast.
Hey, you know what? Just because you said that, I'm putting money on it, Tony.
Nice. Okay, fair enough.
I'm going to do it.
The bold prediction, so yeah.
I want to see that betting slip posted on Twitter for proof, man.
I mean, you know, don't hold your breath on it, but you know, we'll see about it.
All right, yeah, man. What about yourself? What do you think the score is going to be? What's your bold prediction as well?
So I'm going to go for a different route. I'm going to say Swift gets 100 rushing yard game. I feel like, I know last season he had a rough one, but you know, like we made excuses for Caleb because of the offensive line. It's the same for running back. I know sometimes you want him to get individual plays, but he was running into brick walls, wasn't he, last year? When he played for Eagles, he made the Pro Bowl. He can do it if he's got a good offensive line in front of him. So I'm going to put a bet on him to bounce back and start the season well. And I feel like we're going to win 21-10.
Nice. A lot of positivity in the room, man. I'm enjoying that. Tanner, where are you at, man?
I'm right here. What you need from me?
You need to right. Fucking hell. What's the score going to be, Tanner? Come on.
So we're going to start with the wild take. I'm going to call it Olamide sitting in the slot, runs slant to the middle. Caleb hits it to him. 60-yard receiving touchdown for Olamide Zaccheaus. That is my hot take. I have been high on Olamide since we signed him. He's been doing really good in the preseason and training camp. He's going to be my secret star of the season. He's going to be a little underground, but he's going to get those points when you need them. And my score will be 24-10 with J.J. McCarthy not throwing one touchdown. It's going to be Aaron Jones on the other side who scores a touchdown, and I think Luther Burden scores the first touchdown of our game.
Okay.
And
I might as well ask you as well, even though we've talked about it again before the game, but still I'll ask you anyway.
Every bone in my body wants to say like 75-3, but no. For me, I'm going to go with a scoreline of 27-25. I think it's going to be a close one. I think both teams will score. I think it'll be an offensive game, which is what we kind of want, really. And in saying all that, I'm going to go with my bold take is a Tremaine Edmonds pick six. I think he's looked really good in the offseason. I think he's going to have a bounce back here. And I think JJ's just going to see his massive frame in front of him. And Billings is going to be sitting on him. And the ball's going to pop out. And Tremaine's going to go to the house.
Okay. I'd love to see the comeback, man. I'd love to see it. Like, he had a bit of a down season last year. So it'd be good to get back on track. All right, well, I'm gonna throw mine in as well. So I'm gonna say it's gonna be a Bears win. It's gonna be 2016. I think it's going to be a relatively low scoring game as it goes. I cannot say that the Bears are going to go out there and score 4 touchdowns right now. I need to see what the offense. No, I need to see what the offense looks like. We've been there before, guys. We've been there before. We're going to go and score fucking 30 million, and then we end up going out there and shit in the bed, So until we actually see it happening, I can only go on what I've seen before, So
exactly.
So I'm going to go with a relatively low scoring outcome. And in terms of a bold prediction, I'm going to say the Bears don't get called for any pre-snap penalties, which sounds a bit right? That was a big thing, And this is the thing. See the combination of the low scoring. I think it's going to be a slow burner with this offense. It's going to take a few weeks to get going. But see if they can get the fundamental things like that, which was a big problem in previous years. If they can get them, then you can build on that and eventually get where you want to be. So that's my bold prediction for.
I gotta say, spoken like a real guard. That's what that kind of comment is. That's spoken like a true guard. Tony would love a game that's like 13-10 and the guards just dominate and the pocket is clean and it's perfect. I love it.
Absolutely, man. I'm on the offensive lineman. They're my guys.
Right, guys, it's been absolutely amazing having you all on. We do this. We're going to try and do this once a month. We're going to try and get you guys on as different times we can, get you all involved, and it's brilliant to have everyone from different parts of the world supporting the Bears. We talk about it all the time. Being in London at the London game last year. The atmosphere there and how being a Bears supporter isn't just about living in Chicago or living around the area. It's about being around the world. We're massively grateful for all of your support and getting involved with the show and liking the show and following around. So from our heart, we really do appreciate what we're trying to do here and trying to get the word out there to as many people as we possibly can. So what we'll do before we end up is we'll give everyone an opportunity just to say 10 seconds about just what they're either they're doing or where they can be found or what their thoughts are just about life. So Heidi, I'll let your last word, so you can start off because again you're in my top right.
Okay, well you can find me on X, on Twitter. We have a small podcast called Bear Girls. It's mostly in Spanish, but we have a lot of fun. And on my personal Twitter, with me already. I'm terrible, but I have lots of fun. So everybody will be welcome to learn some Spanish.
Listen, I did high school Spanish, right? So I can ask you where the library is, and I can ask you. I can tell you that I want to buy a beer, So we'll see how we go. We'll go from there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
well, exactly, and those are like surviving skills. Also, bad words. If you don't know any, I can show them to you. I'll teach you gladly.
let's do that.
Matt, your last words on the show.
Yeah, again, just, I want to appreciate all of you guys, coming in, doing what you're doing. I've been following, Ant and Tony for a while, and, now I'm gonna, start following the three of you as well, because you seem like, really cool people, really awesome Bears fans. So, I just want to, thank everybody for, just doing what you're doing and being awesome Bears fans.
Love it.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much.
Love it.
Gavin.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. It's class seeing like Bears fans all over the place. Like that London game was unbelievable, wasn't it? It was like a home game, wasn't it? It was a home game, but it actually was. Like the London games are usually pretty naff, like in terms of atmosphere. But that was different gravy, wasn't it? That was definitely a home game for a Bears game. But yeah, I'm on X, so I follow the Cubs as well. So you might see me having meltdowns at like 3 o'clock in the morning because the Cubs have lost again. But we're going to make the playoffs there, so that's all good. And then it's going to be the Bears' turn now, starting from Monday night, where I'll be watching.
Those games in London were amazing. Like, I went to the one. We went to the one last year. Was it the one in 2019? I wasn't at the one at is it 2010 or 2012 or something? The last one. The last two I was at, and honestly, man, you're right. It felt like you were at Soldier Field. Like it was like proper home ground mentality. Like, and the atmosphere was phenomenal as well. Bears fans bring it like no other fans bring it, man. That's my take on the whole thing. Tanner, where can we find you?
You can find me right here, wherever this thing says right here. I don't know where it's at on my screen, but right there in the corner somewhere, you can follow there at Oso Smokes right there. My Twitter page is all fun. I either talk cigars, I talk sports, I talk shit. It's fun to do so. I just got banned for hoping Micah Parsons gets an infected toenail. But, but my Twitter is all fun. If you follow me, I follow you back. That's my rule. I try to stay fun. I try to keep my nose out of drama and beef, but you start talking shit. I can't help you out if you start it. You know how it goes. I've been fun, but again, thank you, Tony and Tony, for having us on talk on our opinions. I've been following you guys for years, as you know, and it's always been enjoyable. Every time we hop on a pod, there's never a dull moment. So I appreciate you guys again for having me on. Thank you very much.
Appreciate you, my man, as always.
Yeah, same here. Thank you so much.
It's been absolutely brilliant having you guys on, and it's the 52 minutes of flowing by. So again, really, really appreciate everybody that's there. Tony, we have a show tomorrow, don't we?
We do have a show tomorrow. We are going to be joined tomorrow at the same time, 9 p.m. Scottish Irish time, 3 p.m. Central time by ESPN's Peggy Kaczynski. She's going to be coming on, and we're going to be talking week one again. We're going to be talking about everything really we can get. We've got precious time with Peggy. We love having Peggy on our shows. So she's a fountain of knowledge, and we cannot wait to have her on. So we'll get the information out about that shortly. But listen, guys, I've had an absolute blast tonight. I can't wait to get you guys back on again. Also, if there's any other folk out there that want to come on when we're doing these Voice of the Fan shows, please do reach out to us. We'll have as many folk on as possible. We want to try and get as many people's opinions out there so they can be heard and seen by everybody. So, yeah, let's do that. And until tomorrow, please remember to bear down.
Bear down, baby.
Wow.